big as a tiger, so we have to clear you a little spot. Clear you a little spot there.
Sass, you want to say hi?
Yes. Nothing came out. All right. Cuteness.
Cuteness.
Cuteness, cuteness. Because she's very cute.
She is very cute.
Oh, Selena. Next time we need to do something.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
All right. This question is from Tyler Lawton.
Hi, Tyler.
Tyler wants to know, have you ever had to turn down taking any big cats in?
Yes.
Were they just too dangerous, or perhaps there have been times where you just couldn't take them?
Both.
I remember, so when I first started volunteering here, we were getting asked like weekly to take in cats, and we were at capacity.
Yep.
And just
It was
couldn't take any.
constant.
Yeah.
Now that it doesn't happen that much anymore. A lot of this has to do with we are not a part of the Global Federation of Sanctuaries. The Global Federation of
Animal Sanctuaries.
Animal sanctuaries, yeah. And that's where they certain organizations like to place only with GFAS facilities. I have a difficult time with politics, so I'm just going to leave it at that, why we're not a part of GFAS at this time. And it has been a decision also by the board, obviously. I don't make all the decisions here for sure. But someday it may become necessary that we have to join, but I hope we don't ever have to, because we do things very differently, and it's what makes care. And we're not contrary to anything that they
Yeah,
do.
I mean, we actually abide by.
Everything that they,
Yeah.
But the problem is there are certain individuals within the organization that I just don't feel that care should be associated with. So that's it. Leave it at that. So, and that's why we really don't get a ton of calls now, but obviously we get enough that we stay full all the time. And like, yes, we did just build 3 new enclosures, but we didn't get 3 new cats. We did get the babies, but the 4 kids, but they're housed all together. But the thing is sometimes you have to improve on the old. I know that you might have heard us talk about it before, that I like to stay under 50 cats or right at 50 cats. I don't want to get more than that, because when you get too many, you become something different. And I don't want to become something different.
Well, as small as our staff and volunteer group is too, it's just, you have to keep it manageable and sustainable too.
Exactly, and it is small, but if we had more animals, we probably would have more people. But I think that that's a part of what I don't want to change about care. Care is very small. It's not small. I mean, we have a lot of cats, but it's very personal, and I don't want to lose that personal part of it. I don't want to lose the ability to see every cat every day and make sure they're okay. I just think that you start jeopardizing that when you get more than 50 animals. It's personally, for me, it's my limit. Other people may have hundreds of them and be able to personally monitor all of them. Probably not. Probably they have other people working under them that do that. But I've never wanted that for care. And CARE's board may decide that that's something that wants to be something different, and I'd have to abide by that. But I think that most everything about care has been built on taking care of a group of animals that is manageable.
Mm-hmm.
And we do get asked to take in not just big cats, but other animals all the time. And I think that we need to stay in our comfort zone. We did go out of our comfort zone and do lemurs, and I wouldn't mind getting a couple different animals here and there.
But we have to have the facility for them.
Yeah.
It'd be unrealistic for us to take in certain animals
Absolutely,
that require...
like a giraffe or an elephant. I
Yeah.
mean, it would be ridiculous for us to do something like that.
Yeah.
And it would be ridiculous for us to take in another tiger at this point when I feel that Wren's enclosure needs to have more space. Allie and Archie, I think that enclosure needed to be opened up. And I still think we need to put a geriatric building on that for the older cats. A small geriatric room, I should say, not a building, but just a geriatric room. So whatever the older cat is that's living here at the time needs to have access to that enclosure. I'd like to have a couple of those eventually, but I think starting with one is great.
The way that our mission is kind of laid out, it kind of goes in order of priority. And the first priority is always the cats that are already here.
Already here, yeah.
They get the most always, and anything
and if we're not
anything
giving
else.
them, and if we're not giving them 100% of everything, should never take another animal
Yeah.
in. And I think that's where a lot of facilities get overwhelmed and get in over their head is because they rescue too much too quick.
Mm-hmm.
You know, without the financial backing or without the staff or without the knowledge. You know, knowledge is a big deal too. Oh, Cass, don't go away. I'm so much prettier when you're next to me.
Sass!
No, don't leave me. All right.
Oh, she's going to pee. Thankfully, your arm is covering it. Nice,
That was
Cassie.
me.
Very
So-
classy. But yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
yeah. I did that.
Cass, get back
I feel
over
better.
here.
Sass, come here.
Get back over here.
But you know,
Come here.
when we took in, right after we took in Munchie and Princess and Wren and Malika and Kiara, we were asked to take in six other, two
Tigers.
lions, or,
They were all tigers.
All
They were
tigers.
2 white tigers, 2 golden tabbies.
and we had to say no. We were just, not only did we not have the space, but we didn't, after just getting in 5 cats, we needed to focus on
And they
them.
really wanted them to come here. I mean,
Yeah.
and they did. And I said, we can, but you need to give us time to raise the funds and build them enclosures. And then they said, well, don't you have just room to put them anywhere? And I'm like, I'm not going to bring cats in unless we have the space now.
Yeah. So they went to a sanctuary, which is good. That
Yeah, they did. I
found
think some of them died, though, unfortunately, because they were all like 2 years old.
Yeah, I think some of them had really bad problems.
I think their diet was okay.
Oh, it was pork, wasn't
Yeah,
it?
they fed
Ham.
ham only, which of course is not a diet that's really acceptable to most organizations of just feeding ham, but that's what they had access to. So that's what they fed them. And then I could be totally off and I could be totally wrong about this, but I was extremely concerned about bringing those cats here because we don't have access to ham. And if we didn't have access to ham, you can't just take an animal that's fed ham their whole life and then just switch them over to beef. And I mean, it would have had to be
Gradual.
and it would have to be gradual, this shock to their system. It would be like somebody that had been a vegetarian forever and then all of a sudden they're on the carnivore diet. Or, you know, it just, the system goes into a shock. And I don't know that that's what happened to them, but I do know that some passed away and that they were very young. And it's very sad that happened.
Yeah.
But that was my concern too. That was a big concern of mine if we took them in, is how are we going to handle this diet change? And again, I'm not knocking the previous facility for the way that they fed. They just be very different than what we do.
Yeah. Yep. And then years and years and years ago, I remember we were asked to take in, I think it was 2 young female tigers. And the only enclosure...
And they lived together.
They lived together, they were young, and they were known for jumping and escaping their enclosures.
Yes.
And the only enclosure that we had at the time
was the kids' old enclosure.
Yeah.
And there was no way. I
And
would
we
put
couldn't
any-
move cats around. It wasn't, where we could move things around at the time. So we
Yeah.
were just like,
Nope.
no, we can't do it.
Now that cage is rebuilt.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Um,
mean, even Mika and Zara, Zara is, I've never seen her jump or try to climb a fence or do anything, but I watch her fly through the air and do some crazy ass acrobatics where her feet are 5-6 feet above the ground just when she plays with her food.
Well, and when she used to jump up on the platforms over here
Yeah.
in that enclosure, I mean, she would just.
But Mika's jumping more than her now, with more grace. Yeah, Mika, not joking. It's amazing. She's amazing.
But yeah, it's occasionally
we
we
do.
do have to say no.
We have to say no. Like I said, we don't get as many calls now as we used to.
Lemurs we have to say no to
All
most
the time.
often.
Yeah. Well, we used to. I mean, that's slowing down too. Up till last year, we got a
Yeah.
ton of lemur calls last year. We haven't gotten a bunch of them this year.
And we had someone that wanted us to take in 2 small animals, but they had kept them in their house in like ferret cages.
Yeah, it was more than that. There were like 5 of those animals, I think.
And they wanted us to keep them in the same
In the house in ferret cages.
type of situation, and we had to decline.
No, because I had told her, and I said, well, I have an exhibit planned where because a lot of them were nocturnal, so they would have an indoor area to where they can burrow and do their things, and then they would have an outdoor area to dig and, I think one was a fennec fox and the other one was, So anyway, she was irate that I would ever, don't I know anything about animals, you should never put these type of animals outside. Okay, well, they're not going to be near them because we're not keeping animals in a stinking ferret cage. No matter how little they are.
Yep.
It's not where they're staying.
Yep.
Oh, I hear
And
you,
on occasion, we'll have people call us and ask us to take in an animal, and we'll say yes, and then they'll disappear. We've had that happen a couple times with bobcats, particularly.
Where what?
Where someone called, asked them if we could take them, and we said yes, and then never heard from them again.
Yeah.
They changed their mind.
Oh, we gotta tell them about the one though.
Oh,
Remember the one?
the skunk and
The white fox.
the white fox. Oh my
Okay,
gosh!
so the
Please
Arctic
tell this
fox-
story.
Okay, so get a call.
This is amazing.
I got a call for a Arctic fox and a white skunk. A white skunk, and no, it wasn't that. It was like a
A fennec fox, maybe.
no. I know what it was. Not a margay, an ocelot. It was
Yes.
an ocelot.
Yes.
An ocelot and a white skunk. And this woman calls and what are you doing? Cassie's coming. Like, I think she's eating the grass and it's
Yeah, she is.
yeah. Well, it's pulling the grass from my back and it felt like she had my shirt. So, anyways, oh my gosh, this was the craziest day. So I'm on the phone and I'm talking to her and I called Jamie and I said, this lady that lives in the Dallas area says she has these animals and she needs us to come pick them up. That she acquired them from her father who passed away, and he lived on an Indian reservation, and he was like some Indian chief guy. So, so she inherited them through her father, and she wanted to make sure that they went to a good home. And I talked to her for a good half hour, 45 minutes. And I said, okay, well, if you could just send a photo of the animals, we'd appreciate it, and I'll try to work out some plans. She goes, animal control is, well, actually, she said, I think she said like Texas Rangers or the federal, if the feds were in, something. She goes, they were coming, they're going to try to take them away from her. And I said, well, that's probably animal control. And she said, I don't know, but I need to get them out of here soon because if I don't, they're going to confiscate them and then they're not going to be able to go somewhere where I know they're safe. I said, okay. So
See,
called Jamie.
I thought you called me and you were like, something feels weird about this.
Well, I
Will
said
you
something
contact her and get pictures?
Yeah, well, because I had asked her, well, that was a little bit. So we had talked about it, and Rachel was so excited. She was like getting transport cages together and all this stuff. And I said, calm down. I'm telling you, I get calls like this sometimes. Slow down, slugger. And so then she calls back again, and we had more discussion. And I said, well, and then I said again, I said, can you send me some photographs of, you know, the animals and your address? So this time she sent her address. So we look up the address on Google Maps, and it's this little teeny house in the middle of like McKinney or something like that. I can't remember where. So it's this little house. And I'm like, going, doesn't look like it's anywhere. And I said that really they need to get those animals out of there pretty soon if that's it. And so then I called Jamie and I said, Jamie, craziest thing, this lady's calling, she says she has these 2 animals. And I said, but can you try to see if you can get her to send it? I think I didn't even ask you that. I said, I wonder, can you run over there? I think you were working. I said, do you think you could run over there and see these animals to see if they, you know, what the deal is with them? So anyway, this goes on all day long. And so finally this lady calls me back. And I said, I really have to have pictures of these animals before we send somebody driving an hour and a half to pick up these animals. I need pictures. Finally, she sent the pictures. It was a white cat with little black spots here and there, and then another like spotted, you know, like I don't know what kind of cat it was. It was 2 domestic cats. A whole day wasted. And honestly, whenever I talked to her after she sent the photos, I said, ma'am, I said, what you need to do is call your local animal control and they can come pick up your animals, because she was serious about it. This was, I believe, I don't think this was a joke. I believe this was a mental illness thing. But yes, so 2 domestic cats over like 3/4 of a day for me, Rachel, powerful Jamie. Yeah.
Trying to figure out where we're going to put them.
Yeah, where we're going to put them, how we're going to house them. Yeah. I mean, I called the USDA, talked to them, Fish and Wildlife, to make sure how we can handle this. Yep.
Mm.
It was 2 domestic
Not
cats.
first. I mean, that's probably the most off the wall story, but definitely not the first time we've spent a whole lot of time
and energy
investing
on an animal that just,
and trying to help people out and take in animals, and then
Yep. Because even Kevin, we were waiting all the way up until the end, thinking that maybe they're going to back down on this. We didn't really know.
Yeah.
Until Jamie drove down to Austin and picked him up. And I was thinking the whole time when she's driving down there, I'm not even sure she's coming back with this thing. We've got the space ready, but you know.
yeah, because I mean, at any moment they could have said no,
Said no,
not doing
change
it.
my mind.
Yep.
Yep.
You do what you can,
Sure do.
but you do learn. You learn over time
Not to get too excited.
not to get too excited. Questions to ask,
Yeah.
things to require
Yes, photographs, please. Photographs, please.
before you make commitments, and
Yeah.
yeah, fun
So,
stuff.
That was funny. I have a ton. I have one that was, somebody was talking about they had a dog thing and they wanted to send all their dogs here to feed to the tigers because they had a puppy mill and they had to move and they had like 50 dogs they wanted to kill and feed to the tiger. I mean, I've had crazy stuff through the years.
We did have a guy email us once asking if he could wrestle Samson.
Oh gosh, do you remember that? I totally forgot about that one.
That was probably the best email I've ever seen.
He was totally serious.
He was offering us money. He just wanted to come and see if we would let him go in the enclosure with Samson and wrestle him.
Talk about mentally ill. Noe, look at her. She wants to play with Selena.
No, Ryan.
Noe, hi baby.
What you doing?
I know you're lonely. She's been doing this a lot lately.
She says, I just really want somebody to play
Well,
with.
Selena was just over there and she walked away. so bad. All these facilities that are closing, just give us one lion for our baby. Just one little lion for that baby over there so she's not alone. She's so perfect.
She is perfect.
You are too, Cass.
She needs a boyfriend.
Oh, Cass. All right, Cass, you did bite my shirt that time. I'm going to move over a little bit.
Says you're not giving me attention, Mom.
On my tail. Now I've got to clear another path. She said that's what I was trying to do when I grabbed your shirt by accident.
Okay. Next question. Okay. This question is for
There.
from Hannah.
Hi, Hannah.
So Hannah wants to know, talking about the olden days, assuming that you have been present at big cat births,
Yes.
can you share what the experience is like? Do the moms know what to do once the cubs have been born?
No, not first time. And that's when you need to be there the first time, you know, and no, they don't know what to do. You know, in the wild, they're with their mom for a year or two before they're full grown and leave. So they learn how to be a mom. They learn those things, and they don't learn that in captivity. Even, you know, lions in particular, you know, they share with each other's babies, you know. So they watch and they see. Tigers not so much, you know, tigers are a little more solitary. But, you know, sometimes you'll see a mom with, you know, run into, they just know how to be a mom more. That's the whole thing. I cleared her a path and she moved. She wants to play with Noe. And Noe's ignoring her.
I mean, Noe and Cassie can just live together.
Not gonna work.
Noe would smush her.
She would smush her like a pancake. So anyway, yeah, having, you know, babies, it's the most incredible experience ever. Helping birth baby tigers, you know. Getting the babies to nurse, you know, holding them there and telling her to lay down and get them nursing. And then once they suckle and they get a hold of there, everything in that mama's world changes in that second, the minute she starts nursing. It's phenomenal what happens hormonally to them, because honestly, there's no way in the world that they could possibly know what's happening to them whenever their belly hurts and they're taking a big old poop and all of a sudden this thing's moving, because that's got to be what they think is happening. They're really sick, there's something wrong with their belly, and this thing is coming out. I mean, and then this thing comes out and they're like, what the heck, it's moving, what you know. And not only that, it's inside a sac, you know, and that's the other thing. I mean, if they don't know what it is, a lot of times first-time moms they'll leave the babies to die. So you have to be there to rip the baby out.
Yeah, because they have to get them out of that.
Fairly quickly, because the umbilical, especially once the umbilical is severed, you know, from the placenta, and then it's done. They're done with their oxygen. So, you know, they have to have their oxygen by that time, and you know, could be very, very scary. So, yeah, it's really cool watching birth. I've watched a lot of different types of animals be born, and it's one of the most beautiful things that there is, as far as I'm concerned.
She's walking really wonky.
I know, she has not been feeling super great. But we've done everything that we can. We've done blood work, we've got her on the meds that we can. Animals get old. And there's a point where you just have to finally say, you've done everything you can. Like with Raven.
Yeah.
You know, every once in a while somebody will come and say, oh, Raven looks really bad today. I'm like,
She's 23. What do you want?
yeah. Cassie, sometimes she looks rough. Milo sometimes looks rough. Solano sometimes looks rough. And you know what? A few days later, they may look great.
Yeah. Her squeaker's still working. We know that.
Yes, it is. So anyway, yeah, babies are cool. I don't remember the question exactly. But yeah, I don't know. What was the question?
You answered it.
Good.
She wants to know, what the experience is like, and do the moms know what to do?
Yeah, they don't know what to do. They don't. Most of them are afraid to. They're afraid of them. They don't want them sucking. So a lot of times they try to kill them. They just are unaware of what's supposed to happen. So with human help, the first time babies can be saved often. Noelle was the most incredible first time mom I ever saw in my life. Noelle was probably the most amazing mother I've ever heard of. Just a little too good. I wish I would have known now what I didn't know then, about keeping the babies with the mom and doing all that kind of stuff. And maybe, we had no idea she was pregnant, though. I mean, we absolutely, how would we have thought that a less than 2-year-old male could produce?
Yeah.
Just,
And even if
it
we
just
would
doesn't
wanted to keep the babies with her, I mean, she was at risk.
well, she was very much, her life was at risk.
Yeah.
But what I was saying is if I knew she was pregnant, which we had no stinking clue, but if we knew she was pregnant, we could have maybe put her in another enclosure to where she could have been easily cared for. But we just had, we had no idea.
All of a sudden, they were there.
They were there. And I swear to you, when intern Nicole came and she told me that, I was like, I was so calm as a cucumber putting my shoes on, and I'm like, this girl's seeing like a rat or something. And she's like, there's baby lions. I'm like, no, there's not. They can't be. It's impossible. We don't breed. Doesn't happen. And the other thing is, no one, not one person here ever saw Wally breed her.
They were doing it in secret. They were doing it after hours.
We never saw that she was in heat. And we shouldn't be concerned anyway because he was too young. And by the time he could do it, we would have his vasectomy done. Everything would be good. But you know what? Life happens, and we have a beautiful Zub and Ra. And, it is what it is.
Yep. And they're wonderful.
Yep, don't regret it at all. So, where are we at? How many more questions do we have?
Just one more question.
One more question.
So this is from Why Me on YouTube.
Hi, Vimey.
I wish I knew Why Me's real name.
Send us a message, Vimey.
So Why Me asks, do bobcats like water, or is it just Max?
Oh, fire ant eating my knee. Got in my hole. Oh, there he is on the outside. Sorry.
Okay.
A lot of bobcats like water. Yeah, I think Bobby probably doesn't like it much because she's declawed, and most declawed animals don't like water on their feet. I think Mia likes water too. She just... Okay, so Mia and Max are kind of funny. Mia doesn't like to play so much when Max is playing. Because when Max is playing, he's got control of the whole thing. And so I think that that's kind of the Mia and Max thing. If you can tire Max out and then Max goes away, then Mia will come and play.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I don't think she has any aversion to water at all.
No, she'll splish and splash around in the water, not as much as Max
Not
does.
as much
Max
as Max.
really loves
Yeah.
playing in the water.
And Max was in the wild longer,
Mhm.
Mia wasn't in the wild.
He's fascinated by it.
And think about it, Mia was separated in a flood.
Yeah.
She may have a little water aversion just because of that.
Yeah.
I mean, just saying, I don't think she does, but I think
Yeah.
I would if I lost my mom in a flood.
Yeah.
So,
But they don't eat it. They're not like tigers. They don't like to lay in the water.
Right, and you'll see a tiger swimming.
Yeah.
That's
Bobcats will swim if they have to.
not like a jaguar.
Right.
Jaguar.
But they'll swim to get from one place to another because they're cut off by water.
Right,
but
right,
jaguars
right.
and tigers will actually hunt in the water.
And
Bobcats will fish
just hang out
and they'll hang out. They like to just chill in the water.
like Bubs.
Mhm.
Bubs goes and sits in the middle of the pond because it's so low right now. Just goes out. Sits in the pond.
But yeah, you don't see Max sitting. He'll sit in the water if he's playing in the water, but he doesn't like just
Doesn't
chill in
chill
the water.
Yeah. Leopard, cougars. Some cougars will do water. Tawny liked water a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
She liked to pull on occasion, but she used to poop in it so much we could never leave it in there because I mean it was like a litter box. It was so gross. We had a black leopard that liked water. Was that Raven? It might have been Ace. That liked to get sprayed with a water hose. I can't remember which one. Either Raven or Ace, because I remember.
I know Tawny did.
Well, the only reason why I know is because I thought whenever I sprayed them with the water hose, it was like, oh, it's probably because they're so dark, it's absorbing, the heat when it's hot outside, and they probably get pretty miserable when it gets really, really warm. So spray them with the water hose, and they loved it. And I think it might have been Ace, but my memory sucks.
Arctic liked to play in the water a little bit.
Arctic liked his front legs in the water,
Mm-hmm.
and he loved the water, but he didn't like his back feet in the water.
Neither does Max. Max doesn't like to get his back feet in there. He will every now and then.
Noe, do you like to have some water in your swimming pool? You want to have swimming pool? I see you have a swimming pool, Noe? Samson loved water. He would get in there, he'd get in Selena's swimming pool, and he would just splash water everywhere. I don't know if you ever saw that video of the Dallas Zoo, the gorilla that spun in circles. Oh, that is the funniest video. If you ever get a chance, watch it. It's the Dallas Zoo gorilla, and he just spun around in circles, like doing this whirly in his like round, like it was like a light blue, like plastic, kind of like our stock tanks, a big one. And oh my gosh, it should have been for Flashdance because it was just. He was so adorable, but it reminded me of Samson so much because Sammy used to just, and the water would just go flying everywhere. And Selena's like, "What are you doing, dude? Calm down. You're wasting all the water in the pool. Conserve." But yeah.
You want to pull, Noe?
She says, "I don't think so. I'm a lion, and most lions don't like water unless they think they're a tiger."
Hi, Sass. You coming back?
There's that pretty girl. She's here to say goodbye, folks. Say bye-bye. I know.
No.
Love y'all. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.